Manufactured locally for the Carolinas. This is the Rob Brown Show. The fan of state.
Oh, hello there. Hi. Good morning. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome in. The Rob Brown Show is on your radio. It's on your computers. It's on your phones. It's in your ear holes. It's in your eyeballs. It's Tuesday. Let's have a little fun. Welcome in. The Rob Brown Show on your digital device of choice. I am Rob Brown. Across from me, as always, the guy in charge of not only this radio show, but every radio show you like. None of the ones that you don't, only the ones that you do. On the other side of the metaphorical glass, he is the Sultan of Swag, the Professor of Perfection, the Wizard of Wave, the Content Cash Cow, the great one, Lonzo. What up, Zoe?
Why guys get back there? No stars, 100 days still. We get on and rubbing that man's rocket in the so go Tigers. Woo!
That's exactly what I was thinking, actually. It's exactly what I was thinking. How shocking that we're on the same wavelength right out of the gate.
It's amazing, isn't it? Me and you, man. Me and you. By the way, a shirt. That thing is rocking, dude.
Isn't that dope?
That is a cool shirt. And you know how you can see that shirt? YouTube, Twitch, Facebook, Twitter, because we're live on all those things. And you can see the shirt that Rob is rocking right now. I'm a little jealous. That's a cool shirt.
I bet I could hook up the great one.
Well, I could buy one. You know, I could do that. Make a purchase. But if you're gonna get me one, you know, I'll take it.
Hey, Lonzo.
Hey, Rob.
Guess what?
What?
Today is a milestone day. Do you know why today is a milestone day?
Does it have something to do with cheeseburgers?
I mean, every day has something to do with cheeseburgers if you try hard enough.
Okay.
No. Today, Lonzo, marks 100 days remaining until college football.
I got to admit that I just guessed.
Cheeseburger's always a good guess.
No. When I did the 100 days with the Clemson, that was just a total guess. You know, maybe I'm just attuned with the football. That's all it is. I don't think I read that anywhere. Just got lucky there.
The football gods have spoken directly to the great
Yes, they beamed it right into my brain.
He said 100 days. I thought, you know what? Let me check the old countdown to college football kickoff counter. Let me check the old tick-tick-tocker and see where we stand. And wouldn't you know it, Zoe, 100 days, 14 hours, 56 minutes, and 9 seconds from now will be the beginning of the 2023 college football season. Yay.
You know what? At the beginning of that season, South Carolina still beat Clemson in the last game they played. Each other. 31-30. So we'll put that out. You got to wait a long time, Clemson, till that next beatdown happens. I know it wasn't a beatdown, but it was to your psyche. That's why you're quiet. That's why we don't hear from you. That's why your flags are down and all. I'm a baseball fan now. I'm a softball fan now. Football. Why don't we talk about that? It's not football season.
I'm a baseball fan now.
Congrats on your baseball and softball team. They're pretty good.
They're pretty good.
Probably better than your football team, though.
Speaking of baseball, the conference tournaments are just about to fire up. Just about to get our conference baseball schedule started. In fact, They begin today in the Southeastern Conference in 25 minutes. In the ACC, they begin in just a tick under 2 hours from right now, with pool play taking place in both. Clemson checks in as the 3 seed. They are the number 1 team out of Pool C in the ACC tournament this year. Of course, Clemson has a very good chance at winning the first ACC title since their last back in 2016. Wake Forest and Virginia, the 2 teams up above the Los Tigres. And then, of course, the Gamecocks of South Carolina will open up against Georgia coming up here in 24 minutes. And we'll walk you through that game as it happens live and in living color. South Carolina, an absolute collapse of a back half of the season, looking to try to get right and get healthy through the SEC tournament. We'll talk about that. Clemson, the opposite. Clemson got better as the season went on, carried some momentum into the ACC tournament, and will look to get right as they head towards March. Towards the regional. Shut up. I'm good at my job. Leave me alone.
It'll take them an entire year. They're going to go all the way around in March.
So we're going to get to that here in just a minute. We have obviously got to get to the National Basketball Association because Rob Brown told you what was going to happen last night. And if you followed Rob Brown last night, you won a little money like Rob Brown did. Why? Because Rob Brown told you it was going to be a close game. And then as you got down the stretch, Denver would pull away after Braun and co. wore themselves out, taking a lead into halftime. That's what happened. And it was a sizable lead at halftime, by the way, for the Lake Show.
When Lonzo drifted away into that good night.
Did you think I got robbed tomorrow?
No. I thought, man, I'm tired. That's what I thought.
You and LeBron both. LeBron and Lonzo both had a hell of a first half performance and then went night-night in the second half. Ladies and gentlemen, that performance, despite all the hee-hawing to the controversy, was not a failure of LeBron, who gave you 30 in the first half, who had the Lakers built up to a 15-point halftime lead, and then watch the Nuggets outscore the Lake Show by 20 in the third quarter. And then that lead went away. Like, by a lot. By a lot. And the Nuggets sweep the Lake Show up out the playoffs. Just like I told you they would.
Which is how it should be. I mean, if you look at the records and everything, of course I was rooting for the upset and the turmoil and all that kind of stuff. But, LeBron made a bad choice when he brought Anthony Davis there because he's a part-time player pretending to be a full-time player.
21 points, 6 of 15 from the floor, chipped in 14 boards, 1 assist, 1 steal, and 3 blocks today.
I'm just saying, if they brought in Kyrie too on top of that, that little extra that they needed to get over each of those games, Kyrie might have done that for them.
Did you happen to catch who was sitting courtside directly where the Lakers were playing second half basketball, staring at them?
Remember, I was asleep, so no, I didn't catch that part.
Well, I'll tell you, Kyrie was sitting courtside at the Laker Denver show, and you got to imagine that at some point he looked at Braun and went, huh? Yeah. You, me, you, me. Like a Dumb and Dumber sketch. Me, you, me, you.
Still haven't seen that movie.
That was actually Night at the Roxbury, not Dumb and Dumber.
Haven't seen that one either.
Oh man. You, me, you, him, me.
I
you,
am more into the highbrow here.
Yeah, Alonzo, obviously
yes.
a sophisticated
Yes.
intellectual.
I need the dry British type delivery. I just don't. Yeah.
40 out of Bron, 21 out of 80. It really wasn't an awful night for LA. They just did not have the gas that Denver had. As a matter of fact, Bron and co. had the ball with time expiring. LeBron did what he had done all night, which was drive the rack, get to the glass, kiss it off, get a deuce. He tried to do it one last time as time expired, but Nikola Jokic, even with 5 fouls, recognized, ayo, I would rather send him to the stripe and take the risk that I foul out than let him have another one of them easy-ass layups that he's been getting all night. LeBron was good last night, dude. I wake up this morning and I see immediately all the takes of LeBron comes up short in the... No, dude, the only reason there was a clutch was because of LeBron. The only reason there was a high-pressure situation in the moment, the Lake Show with a chance to win late, was because of LeBron. LeBron was the only reason the Lakers were in that game last night. And, of course, I get up this AM, and everybody's like, LeBron just couldn't get it done in the clutch. LeBron couldn't get it done. What are you talking about? LeBron was the only reason there was a clutch for it to be gotten done in. Knock that crap off. That's weak. That's weak. So we'll come back to that later on in the show. We have got the Stanley Cup playoffs. The Carolina Hurricanes can't crack the safe that is Sergei Bobrovsky. Bob is God between the pipes. Bobrovsky was a dude. Once again, Carolina can't score. Florida just needed one, and they got it. 1-0 Panthers at the house, and the Carolina Hurricanes now find themselves on the brink of elimination, and they've still got to play one more down in Sunrise, Florida. They, ladies and gentlemen, are in a whole heap of trouble. And tonight, the Dallas Stars could join them because the Vegas Golden Knights are up a pair. Now, here's the good news for Dallas. Good news for Dallas is that they get to play games 3 and 4 in the house. They're back in their own barn in the Big D, and I do mean Dallas. So, Dallas in a better spot than Carolina is, but not in a good spot. We'll break that game down later on in the radio broadcast. Can Dallas avoid being pushed to the brink of elimination like Carolina? So Denver is swept. Boston's getting swept tonight. Carolina's on the doorstep of getting swept. And Dallas is going to fight for their lives tonight to avoid getting pushed to the brink of elimination. Here's the text I'm talking about, Lonzo. Here's the text I'm talking about. Texter says, LeBron is a crybaby. He couldn't do it. I love it. Dude got 40 by himself last night. He is 38 years old. He put that team on his back down 3 and carried them to where they were competitive last night. He brought them to the point where there was something to play for late, and the texts are all, ha, Bron couldn't do it.
Yeah, but it's the Jordan people. And I get that. And I don't know why they're threatened. I was a Jordan guy. Whether I agree with LeBron's politics or not, I think he has surpassed Jordan, and a lot of people think that. And I got some news for you. The latest couple of generations, they don't know who Michael Jordan is except for he's a shoe guy. That's really what it comes down to. LeBron, they've seen for a really long time. You can say, well, it's a now generation. They don't appreciate history. Whatever, man. LeBron is the guy and has been the guy for a really long time, longer than Jordan was. So, I mean, and those haters, they can't stand it. And you are old guy, get off my lawn guy. Whether you know you are or not, you are that guy. So wake up and realize it and embrace it. Start kicking them off your yard.
Ron couldn't do it last night. Get out of here. Weak, man. LeBron was the only thing that kept the Lakers from being beat by 40 last night. Was his 40. Hey, I love the guy. I don't mean to bang the hammer on the wrong dude. Where was Austin Reeves in the clutch last night? Not there. Where was Hachimura, who got his start in the clutch last night?
First of all, you can go after those guys, but were those guys brought in to be that guy? No, they were not. They were brought in to be bit players, to add points here and there, and they did their part even last night. There's one guy that was supposed to pick up the slack, and that's the guy who didn't do it, and that's Anthony Davis.
21 for AD. Far from his best.
It's not just about the points. It's about the hustle. It's about the rebounds he should be getting, the lack of effort. There's just a lot of things.
I mean, he brought down more boards than anybody on the Lakers bench. He brought down more boards than everybody.
He's also taller. He's also taller than everybody on the Lakers bench. So he's supposed to do that.
Jokic, by the way, 30 points, 14 boards. You want to know where the difference lies? Nikola Jokic, 30 points, 14 boards, 1 steal, 3 blocks, 13 assists from the big guy. Texter said LeBron couldn't do it. Get over it. You're unreasonable. All right. Can I just, you're unreasonable. That's all this is. You're an unreasonable person. If you looked at that and watched LeBron dominate in the paint, and don't get me wrong, I absolutely believe, especially in the second quarter of that game last night, the whistles were going one way. All right? They just were. Everybody was pointing it out. And yes, the Nuggets were fouling, but they were not getting the calls they deserved on the other end. The Lakers were getting the benefit of the whistles. I'm not disagreeing, but, if you watch that and thought, this is all LeBron, you just don't know basketball. Sorry.
Or they just didn't watch. Some guy named Sean, who I think has awesome hair, says LeBron will insist on a new coach next year, play amazing, still lose.
So
no, LeBron's going to threaten to retire, and he didn't really threaten. He didn't say he was retiring. And then he's going to ask for some pieces that they didn't bring him this year. He's going to get those pieces, and then they'll win next year. I mean, that's going to happen.
Well, I'll tell you what we're going to do here, Zoe, because your prognostication may or may not have already come true. Let's take a break. And when we come back, we're going to play you the audio of what LeBron had to say when he got to the podium last night. Because a combination of this audio and a take from the DA show this morning and a point made by, who was it, Skrilla on the stream just a minute ago. We got a nice little pot to stir for just a second. Is LeBron done? I'm going to say no, but I'll let you hear what LeBron had to say when we come back. LeBron couldn't get it done. 40 damn years old and led the entire game in points scored last night. Get out of it. That's so weak. Back after this on the Rob Brown Show in the Fan Upstate.
You see.
Live read here, guys. We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere.
If you're searching for the best burgers in the game, find them at Twin Peaks all month long. It's National Hamburger Month, and these seasoned, smashed, and seared burgers are waiting to be discovered. Twin Peaks. Eats, drinks, see views.
Offsides is on the road again. Join Mark Ryan with Offsides this Wednesday from 3 till 7 at Ingles Market in Spartanburg, 8650 Asheville Highway. Mark's giving away.
Yeah, Josh, as far as greatest of all time and greatest of that era, I've argued that for a while. But people want to say the word GOAT. I don't know why. It's very important to them.
Your smart speaker. Just say play 97 The Fan Upstate on your HD radio at WFBC HD3. Just one more time. And on your computer at thefanupstate.com. Listen on the Odyssey app. Search The Fan Upstate. What is love? Baby, don't hurt me. Don't hurt me no more. Baby, don't hurt me. Don't hurt me no more.
No, I just want to do that all segment.
Yeah, I can only play so much of it.
Yeah, I
because-
know.
Yeah, I can't.
Still just want to do that all segment. Welcome back. The Rob Brown Show's on your radio. It is the Fan Upstate, ladies and gentlemen. Rob Alonzo with you. Clip 1. Post being swept last night. LeBron James went to the podium. And Bron was asked, how you feeling, bro? You all right? You running it back for one more? You coming back for another run? And LeBron, in the midst of a slightly longer answer, I did have to pull some of it out because he went on for like 3.5 minutes. This is the highlight of it. The cynicism running rampant on social media today is hilarious. I got a buddy of mine, Chris. He's an old fraternity brother. And he put up a tweet that said, this is all to deflect away from the sweep. We all expected fake injury embellishment, but this is a new low for him. Y'all remember that time he showed up with a cast that was never seen again? Right? End quote. Now,
Yeah, because it's all LeBron's fault. The whole it's all his fault. Everything, every single bit of it, all his fault.
so I do remember the cast. It was way back in 2018, 18, like half a decade ago?
As a wrestling fan, I appreciate a good work, brother.
I do remember the cast. And I also remember, again, that LeBron, again, according to reports, and we certainly have reached a point where the cynicism about LeBron runs very, very deep. But I get it. Part of the repercussions, if you are LeBron, of being so protective about your image, your name, image, and likeness, if you will, part of the consequences of being so protective of your image is that everyone is going to assume that everything that you do is done out of service in protection of that image. Now, that is going to mean that you are going to discredit anything that was reported about LeBron James that you think is true as false. And again, that is partially on LeBron. I'm not saying it's not. But if I recall correctly, that cast was worn during the 2018 NBA Finals, a finals, Lonzo, where LeBron averaged 34 points, 10 assists, 8.5 rebounds, and shot 53% from the floor. LeBron was just embarrassed that they lost and he faked a hand injury. Okay, well, it's kind of silly to fake a hand injury when you're 34, 10, 8.5 and shooting 53% from the floor. Maybe, just maybe, hear me out, he actually had a hand injury. Now, is this whole thing about retirement because LeBron James is retiring? Maybe. Is LeBron James doing all this because he's considering retiring? Maybe. Is LeBron James doing this to deflect attention away from the fact that his team just got swept? Maybe. Any of those things can be true.
And all of them could be true, right?
Yes. I don't remember. I want to say it was Mraz this morning on the DA show. Made a great point. One of the big assumptions about LeBron is that he is trying to hang in there to accomplish a goal that he himself has stated multiple times, which is what? Wants to play with Bronny, right? Wants one season on an NBA roster with Bronny Jr. And Mraz made a good point. He said there's a couple of things going on. That requires minimum 2 more seasons, right? Minimum. Bronny's going to USC this year. That would be the Southern California version.
Still upset about that. He should have picked Ohio State. It was on his list.
Bronny's going to SC to play under the sunshine in Los Angeles. Bronny's going to be there for 1 season, which means Bron's got 1 more season without Bronny, if this is indeed the case. But there's also, and Mraz made, I want to say it was Mraz, but I'm going to give him the credit for it. He made a great point. We're all working on the assumption that Bronny's a one-and-done player. We're all working under assumptions that because Bronny came from the loins of LeBron, that he has just been gifted by the universe the same basketball talent. And the truth is, maybe not.
Probably not. I was thinking about this earlier. What did Michael Jordan's kids do in basketball?
Yeah.
I mean,
genetics does not give you the ability to cross somebody over.
Sometimes it works out, but it always seems to be like the dad was okay.
Yeah.
And then the kid is better. It's usually not the opposite.
Correct. So the assumption that Bronny is going to play 1 year in LA and then go play in LA is just that, a baseless assumption. We got to see what Bronny does at college before we declare him NBA ready. What if Bronny needs 2 years at USC to fully develop his game to be NBA ready. Well, now LeBron's looking at 3 more seasons in the league, if that's indeed his goal. And LeBron might be realizing that, hey, man, if I really want to play with Bronny, I'm locked in for 3 more seasons minimum. And 3 more seasons minimum, followed by potentially that last season being on a crap team, right? Because Bronny, if he is NBA ready, is likely going to end up getting drafted percentage-wise, more than likely, by a team that's not championship caliber, who then is going to sign LeBron James. And his last year might be a total flop. LeBron doesn't want to go out his final year in the NBA on a team that goes 500 and misses the playoffs.
Yeah, you mean like what Michael Jordan did when he played for Washington?
Yes.
Yeah, we want to do that. We want to follow in those footsteps.
I mean, you know how fondly America looks back on Washington Bullets/Wizards Michael Jordan era. We don't even talk about it anymore.
They pretend like it didn't happen.
Let me ask you a question.
But it did.
Lonzo, you ever seen a Jordan Washington jersey? No, you've never seen one.
Well, when he was playing, but I mean,
and even then, you saw one, the one he was wearing.
Yeah.
Right? So it doesn't shock. It would not shock me if this turned out to be accurate. If LeBron was contemplating retirement, because LeBron doesn't want to have a Michael Jordan ending to his career, where we all, even when he's still hooping, are going, let's remember the good times.
Or let's speculate further that LeBron's foot really is hurt. It requires surgery. He misses half the season. He comes back. There's no way the Lakers make the playoffs. They're a really bad team. They're a lottery team, and all of a sudden they could draft Bronny. I mean,
there's all types of moving targets here, right? And I recognize the speculation that I do here on the show is irrelevant. If you have decided that LeBron's comments, that LeBron's discussion of retirement last night, which, by the way, can real quick, brief timeout here. Let me throw the Zach Morris timeout at you. Can we also remember, because I think we tend to forget this, that while there's like 6 to 12 differences between LeBron's life and mine, I think we also have to remember these guys are competitors. They are humans. And while we had, who was it a week and a half ago? I forget what Hooper podcast we played the sound from, but they said maybe 50% of the guys in the league love basketball. Maybe 50% of the league loves basketball. The other 50% do it because it pays well, right? Dislike them or like them all you want. Lonzo, you got any question if LeBron James loves to win?
No question at all.
None at all. None at all. So maybe let's just take a deep breath and recognize that LeBron going existential crisis last night in front of our very eyes maybe was just triggered by the fact that he's a competitor. He likes to win. And what did not happen last night? Oh, and LeBron got swept in the conference finals. He doesn't like that. So maybe LeBron was just having an emotional reaction to a situation that, frankly, he's not that familiar with. And maybe let's just give him a minute.
Whether it's coincidence or not, on Twitter, an NBA tweet just popped up. LeBron James with a historic game 4, 40 points, 10 rebounds, 9 assists. He becomes the oldest player in NBA history to record 40 points in a playoff game. I don't see it say at the end, and it's all his fault that they lost. Yeah, I don't see that there.
What the hell else could he have done last night? The only thing he could have done that he didn't do was instead of driving to the rack, maybe a pull-up J from the elbow, knock that thing down and send it to overtime. Maybe he could have done that with the entire Nugget defense being thrown at him. And who do you trust in that lineup, Lonzo? Who do you trust to knock down a game-tying shot as the clock hits 0 more than LeBron? Ant Davis, who was 6 of 15 from the floor? Hachimura, Schroeder? Austin Reeves is the only guy, and even that's like
Tristan Thompson, who until last night I didn't know was on the team.
Tristan Thompson, who had been doing ESPN spots for the past 6 weeks because he wasn't burdened by having to play basketball.
And at halftime, they talked to Tristan Thompson.
Yeah.
Like, what?
Yeah. Oh, you're on the squad. All right. Can't wait till we get the security footage from last night where Tristan Thompson had to convince the garage guard. No, I'm seriously, I'm on the team, dude. Seriously, I'm Tristan Thompson. I'm on the roster. Can we get extra security down here on the floor? We got this weird guy who says he's on the team. Over.
In a point of desperation, the LA Lakers activate Tristan Thompson. Their secret weapon, but it didn't work.
Yeah, who else on that roster were you going to have take that shot? LeBron is the only answer. The Nuggets swarmed him. He went one step further than he should have, could have, would have. And keep in mind, if it wasn't for his 40 in that game, by the way, the same people beating up LeBron for not doing enough are the people who were fawning, and I was too, but who were fawning over Jamal Murray's 40 in the game before that, right? When he went 30 at the half, just like Bron did, and we were all going, oh my God, he's arrived. Jamal Murray is that dude. LeBron does the same thing last night at 38 years old, and what do you wake up to this morning? It was all LeBron's fault. No, it's not. Listen, there are consequences to the actions of LeBron James protecting his image throughout his career. And one of the consequences is nobody is going to give you the benefit of the doubt pertaining to a statement or an action that reflects on your image. It's an unfortunate reality of creating this double life of greatest basketball player of all time and also media mogul. It comes with that territory. So if you want to beat up, LeBron's just doing this to deflect attention from the sweep. LeBron's only doing this to deflect attention from the fact that the Lakers. I would like to point out that the LA Lakers started this season 2-10. That the LA Lakers at one point were 15 and a half games out of the West. And then the Lakers made it to the play-in. And weren't supposed to be there, but they made it to the second round. And they weren't supposed to be there, and they made it to the conference semis. And they weren't supposed to be there, and they made it to the conference finals on the back of a 38-year-old LeBron James. Look, the dude ain't washed. LeBron at 80% is still better than 90% of the rest of the league. So I'm not saying you've got to bend over backwards to give him the benefit of the doubt. I am saying the raw cynicism towards this dude. It's all his fault. No, it's not. What game were you watching? What game were you watching? Let's take a break. We'll come back. A few more thoughts from last night. A few thoughts about tonight. Beantown and Miami. The Celtics looking to not be part 2 of the double sweep tonight. Give you some thoughts on what they can do to escape being the second team swept out of the conference finals this year. We'll talk some hockey. We'll talk some college football. Shane Beamer said something yesterday that I kind of take a bit of umbrage with. I'll tell you what that was and more on the Rob Brown Show in the Fan Upstate. Oh, I like this. I like this from Skrilla. Can we change the title from the greatest of all time to the greatest of that era? Interesting. Brief moment of panic.
So I chastised him for that. It doesn't look, some people with the there's still some on top. Some people with the buzz cut, it looks good. Other people, it's like, yeah, don't do that, man. What made you do that? Yeah, I know. Hair advice from me about haircuts, but I should decree and see if it works that all producers here must have long hair. Except for Diesel. He's left out because of his beard. I mean, that makes up for it. I mean, that thing is perfect, so you've got to accent that with the right kind of hair. So everybody else needs to grow their hair out. Even Brandon. Brandon needs to grow his hair out.
Courtney started back on the she wants me to cut my hair thing. I was like, I'll tell you what, I'm growing it till we get married. When it's time to get married, I'll cut it. But until then,
you won't make it. When that one length is reached that you can't stand. Dude, Steven, that's a hard choice. That's a hard choice, but I'm going to go with Diesel's beard because my hair is better than T2's.
Yep, the beard is the correct.
I'm going to prove it. I've got a way to prove it. Just haven't done it yet because I'm afraid if I do it, it'll become a GIF. But I'm going to do it. I got video evidence that my hair is better. Something that he's never done. Just got to cut it up and throw it up there.
Will you flip this to the SEC network? I think we have it.
You know what channel that is, but I'll try.
The South Carolina game's on. Give a shout out to my dude Diddy, who just put up what I think is going to go down as the tweet of the day. He said, always hilarious to see how success isn't allowed to be given to just one player, but failure is. Oh, if that's not the damn truth. So,
unless you're Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
So when they failed, when they had trouble getting past Detroit and all that stuff, that was never his fault.
If Diddy didn't just knock that one out of the park, I don't know who did. Success isn't allowed to be given to one player, but failure is. So if you said last night, Braun failed, then you have to also say that the Lakers making it from a play-in to the conference finals must be Braun succeeding, correct? If it's Braun's fault when they lose, then it must also be Braun's fault when they win.
No. They won because he allowed the rest of the team to play. So when he backed off and let the rest of the team play, then they were able to win. When they lost, it was because he was being selfish. I mean, 40 points. He's just out there gunning the ball. Fair enough. There are other people on the team. Why is he not throwing the ball to those guys?
For sure. If Braun was the reason that they got swept, then Braun's also the reason that that team, a team that we all acknowledge had shortcomings, made it to the conference finals and ran into a buzzsaw, by the way, of Nikola Jokic. It can't be half and half. Oh, when the team wins, it's a team effort. But when it loses, it's that one guy's fault. No, it's not. It's not how team sports work, like at all, like not in the least, like not even a little bit. Why are we pretending that's how it goes? It's not. Never has been. Didn't start now. Anyway, if you want to throw a couple of thoughts in here on LeBron before we get out of here, you are more than welcome to. Text line's open, 71307, 71307. Start your text with FAN, F-A-M. We'll read them on the air. FAN, F-A-M. We'll read them on the air. Texter says, LeBron is not winning again. You're weak because you're crying. Ladies and gentlemen, my favorite player in basketball right now is Nikola Jokic, right? I love Nikola Jokic. I love him because, A, he is the most dominant player in the NBA today, A. And B, he is so godforsaken boring in his dominance. And that's why I love the guy. Nikola Jokic has been described by the great one as boring. And it's a factually accurate description. He is boring while averaging triple-doubles in the playoffs. You ready for the list of players who have as many postseason triple-doubles in a single postseason as Nikola Jokic? Here's the list. That's it. Nobody has as many triple-doubles in one postseason run as Nikola Jokic does. He is the most dominant player in basketball. I want to see Nikola Jokic win these NBA finals. And I want to see Nikola Jokic win these NBA finals because I want to see a return of players like Nikola Jokic. I want to see old school, underneath the rack, dominant basketball from a guy who can also step up and bury 17 footers into your soul.
I don't know, man. I think Miami's going to have something to say about that.
Playoff Jimmy. Because that is your finals now, right? Like, Lonzo, I tried to tell you yesterday the sweep was on the way. I'm telling you again, the sweep's coming tonight when Beantown gets put away because that team has imploded, and I don't think they're just going to suddenly get it back.
Should I just tune in for the fourth quarter?
No, I'd say you're probably going to
I'm probably not making it to the fourth quarter.
What you did last night.
Yeah. I'll just record it and watch the fourth quarter tomorrow.
I think you'll get a surge out of Boston early. I think you'll get a surge out of Boston. I think Miami will weather that storm. I think the Heat will put it together in the third quarter. I think Boston will implode again, and the Heat get the sweep as well.
Yeah, to blaming people. In Boston's case, no player's getting blamed. The coach is getting blamed. Why is that? Why is the coach not getting blamed for LA, but the coach is getting blamed for the Celtics, who arguably a better team than LA, projected to do better. I think we talked about yesterday, they were the number 2 seed in the East, and they're struggling. Why, who's the star player on the Celtics, who should be blamed right now? Why is it the coach?
So I'm going to go with a couple of things here. Number one, Darvin Ham's not taking the heat because America wants to keep it focused on LeBron.
And they're afraid of him because that dude, that glare, man, you don't want that.
Darvin Ham, I think, ran up against his equal in the West, in Mike Malone. Mike Malone is right now living on a different level, right? I thought Darvin Ham did a wonder. I think Darvin Ham in the last series was the reason the Lakers were here. That zone scheme defense they ran in the last game, in the last series, pardon me, against Golden State was exceptional. They basically said, if Steph's going to do it, Steph's going to do it by himself, and Steph didn't get it done, right? They removed everybody else. It was spectacular. Mike Malone knew exactly how to counter that. He said, all right, look, here's the deal. If you're going to run that same defense, which the Lakers did, we're going to play a two-man game with Murray and Nikola Jokic, and we're going to let other guys step in big spots to fill in the gaps. But this is Murray and Jokic running the way they want. In fact, I wish I wouldn't have deleted it. But I had the clip after game 3 where they were like, yo, Mike, what's the deal? We saw you talking with Jokic. What's the deal? And he said, look, I was telling Nikola Jokic, you call the action you want, right? You and Jamal run the two-man game. You call the call that you think is going to work, and we'll go with it. And it worked like a dream. But America just wants to keep the hate focused on LeBron. Over in Boston, you got 3 guys, Tatum, Brown, and Smart. Any one of those 3 guys should take over. So why are we not bringing the heat down to Missoula? Well, first off, I am bringing the heat down to Missoula because he has not been anywhere near what he needs to be. But you got 3 guys for Boston, any one of whom could take over and control the game. For whatever reason in this series, none of them will. Let's take a break. We'll get away from basketball, get some football, baseball, and hockey in here coming up on the Rob Brown Show in the Fan Upstate.
In fact, ZipRecruiter has helped a lot of business owners find their needle in a haystack. Like Marco, president of operations at Telly Tires and Auto Centers. Because Telly Tires has grown a lot in the last few years, Marco needed to hire everyone from a receptionist to a store manager to a head mechanic.
ZipRecruiter helps me find all the right people, even the most difficult jobs to fill. ZipRecruiter helps me keep my business running.
Take it from Marco and millions of other businesses who use ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter can help you find the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/RADIO. ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter, the smartest.
Rob Brown Show's on the radio. It is the Fan Upstate, ladies and gentlemen. Rob Alonso.
You heard me talking about the
I forgot and left that in. I got to cut that out.
What?
I can't leave that song on the podcast.
Is assigned a licensed and insured tax attorney who evaluates your company at my expense to accurately determine eligibility. Innovation Refunds has hundreds of 5-star reviews on Trustpilot and Google, and your business might be entitled to receive up to $26,000 per employee. Businesses of all types can qualify, including medical, professional, construction, even nonprofits. Please don't miss out on this. Even your doctor would tell you to get an expert second opinion, and we do a lot of work for doctors. Download the Innovation Refunds app now or go to getrefunds.com to potentially get a payroll tax refund of $26,000 per employee. Getrefunds.com. Getrefunds.com.
Want to quickly become Dad's favorite?
The old agent of chaos.
The best courses in the upstate. The Preserve It per day.
There will be chaos.
The Rock, Rear Golf, Rolling Green, just to name a few. And best of all, Now through Father's Day, the Upstate Golf Cart is on sale. One for $75 and two for $125. Get your dad one today at upstategolfcart.com.
Spent like 3 days on Jedi Fallen Order being stuck somewhere. Then I walked up and realized there's a structure. There's actually a gap that you could go through. That's so frustrating. Because there's so much platforming involved with it. So you got to look for grooves on walls to see if, okay, I can run on that wall and things like that.
Yeah.
And I'm looking everywhere, backtracked, fast traveled other places, come back, and then just walked up to it and walked through. It was like, oh, you got to be kidding me. No, because Chris Evans is Captain America because Chris Evans plays Captain America. That's the whole thing. So
His name is actually Chris Evans.
yeah, it's his name. It is. When the running back from Michigan, Chris Evans, was playing, I would tell Chris, good game last week. He had a lot of yards. This Chris Evans also an actor. So, I mean, there's that too.
He is an actor.
He has an IMDb credit, so that makes you an actor.
The Chiefs are winning the Super Bowl because they have been #disrespected.
People like you.
Very, very sorry. It is my disrespect that did it. So when the Chiefs inevitably win the 2023-24 Lombardi Trophy, you can all look back to April 17th, 2023 and say, damn it, Rob Brown, you did this when you #disrespected.
We're going to clip this so I can play it back to you, and you'll know it's your fault.
Go ahead, man. You can put it on the Fearless Predictions.
Write it down on my
If the Chefs win the SB this year, it is because Rob had the audacity to disrespect them.
How dare you?
Same great show, new time.
The Rob Brown Show.
Now 19 news.
Thanks, Rob. Thanks to you. 2 in a row. Can't wait.
Now CBS Sports Radio.
Upstate. Here's how to get in the game on your radio at 97.7 FM, 1330 AM, Greenville, 97.1 FM, 950 AM, Spartanburg.
Listen on your phone. Download the Odyssey app and search The Fan Upstate.
There's a whole lot more to know about sound if you really want to go into the subject.
Your smart speaker. Just say play 97 The Fan Upstate on your HD radio at WFBC HD3. Just one more time. And on your computer at The Fan.
FanUpstate.com.
Upstate.
WORD Spartanburg.
WFBC HD3 Philadelphia official sports voice of the Upstate Fan. CBS Sports Radio. Live from the Philadelphia.
Man, check this out.
You're on official Rob Brown lockdown.
Represents me a win. Yeah.
Unfiltered sports talk. Manufactured locally for the Carolinas. This is the Rob Brown Show. Rob only.
The Fan Upstate.
Our numero dos of the Rob Brown Show goes now, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Fan Upstate. Howdy, y'all. How is everybody? Y'all doing all right? Everybody good? Everybody have a lovely weekend? I hope so.
It's Tuesday, man. I mean, why are you asking about the weekend? I'm
Sure
just
is.
saying.
I'm struggling,
I
dude.
mean, maybe some people had yesterday off. Good for you. Like we'll have next week.
I have off Friday and Monday. I will be out this Friday. Y'all will be joined by the mouth of the South Cole Bryce. It's
Oh, gosh. 3 hours with that guy.
gonna be great, dude. Y'all are gonna have a
For him, because he gets to spend time with me. But I mean,
I'm very excited. Friday, actually Thursday after the show, as soon as the show's over on Thursday, your boy will be popping down to the FLA, spend a weekend with the fam down in the Sunshine State, getting the band back together.
I was going to say, are you singing?
I am going to be singing a little bit. Question is, though, fair or foul? Do I go live from the stage for a few minutes on the Facebook page?
Absolutely. You are a member of the Fan Upstate family. And when you're doing something amazing, that's right, family. When you're doing something amazing like that, it shows how talented you are. Of course, you should showcase that. I look forward to those videos because I always watch and go, I know that guy. It's cool.
I may. We got a show Friday night and Saturday night. At the Juanas, my favorite little watering hole down there. I actually, you know what I'll probably do? I'll probably have to record it and edit it and pull it later.
Yeah, I was going to point out that it's probably not something that should be, played around.
Yeah, I may have to do a little recording and then circle back with the old edit button. Not that Rob
is doing
do or say anything inappropriate. But
Rob is doing bar talk, and there's other people there who might shout something out.
Correct.
That's possible.
I would never. I would never.
Are you rapping?
Oh yeah,
he's rapping.
Oh yeah.
If you haven't seen Rob rap, it's pretty cool. It really is.
I don't disagree. You are correct. It is. So yeah.
Are you gonna have a mean guitar solo?
No, I never.
Okay, all right, because you never know. I mean, it's been a while. You may just suddenly just break out into one, and yeah, it could happen.
We'll see.
I believe it's possible. It can be like a 5-second solo, but it's still a solo, right? Are you gonna?
My mother just said, "Dude, not sure why you're back in the not cutting your hair kick, but you already kind of look homeless."
Wow, if you kind of look homeless.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's get to some sports here, shall we? Let's start with a couple of bits of news and notes out of the Gamecocks of South Carolina. As we are, Lonzo,
100 days away from the start of college football season, and the Gamecocks still beat Clemson in their last meeting.
100 days and 13 hours-ish, something like that. I don't know exactly but 100, it's 100 days. All right, we're 100 days away from college football kickoff. And it seems now's as good a time as any to start talking ball. So let's get to a couple of stories out of Columbia.
Yeah, some shows haven't stopped because it's, what else would they do?
Shane said, stick to sports. We're going to. Shane Beamer has been in the news a couple times the last couple of days. First off, Shane's been on tour. The Gamecock Club tour is going on right now. Shane and other coaches traveling around the great state of South Carolina, talking to boosters and fans from different parts of the Palmetto State.
Has he been up this way?
I don't think he has yet.
We need to find out when he's up this way.
Don't worry. I'll ask him.
There we go.
He's a friend.
Friend of the show.
Friend of the show. So, the big question that has been asked of Shane Beamer most in the last couple of weeks has, of course, been, hey, coach, what's the run game look like? What's the run game look like right now? Because we know that the RB room is maybe a little bit more thin than we would like. And Shano was quoted as saying, quote, I'm probably not as concerned about it as maybe the outside narrative is right now about it, end quote. Of course, we know Marshawn Lloyd transferred. He's now at Southern Cal after leading the Gamecocks with 573 rushing yards last year. We know Jaheim Bell is out. He had an increased role in the run game when Lloyd missed 3 of the final 4 games with an injury. He ended up being the Gamecocks' second highest rusher with 261 yards on 73 carries. We know that Rashad Amos had the move to Miami, which left Juju McDowell and Mario Anderson, a transfer in, as the 2 guys that are predominant. Beamer said, quote, you'd love to have 4 or 5 running backs you feel good about. Those guys are going to play special teams, and it's a position that gets a lot of wear and tear. Now, McDowell, theoretically, is going to be RB1. We saw him play in spurts in his first 2 seasons in Columbia. He has been a relatively well-proven rusher so far for the Gamecocks. However, McDowell Alonzo goes 5'9", 177.
I was going to say he's a smaller back, but that's not entirely a bad thing. He's fairly well built.
You can be the most well-built 177-pounder you want to be. You got limited shots from Georgia's defensive line at $177, dude. Limited shots. Mario Anderson is going to have to step in and fill the role. He was a finalist for the Harlan Hill Trophy, which is the Division II Heisman Trophy last year at Newberry. Can he bring some of that success? You got Dak Joyner back there as well. But ultimately, what I heard from Shano is that they're still looking, right? They're not done looking. South Carolina was in the running for a Notre Dame transfer by the name of Logan Diggs. They were in the running for NC State's Demisumo Karganbayi. Diggs was a Louisiana native who visited Columbia a couple of weeks back, but then he announced his commitment to LSU and his former coach, Brian Kelly. Fireball! It'll never stop being funny to me. Brian Kelly down there in Baton Rouge with his fireball.
That last one sounded a little wet. You know?
Fireball! So what are the options here for the Gamecocks? What are the options here? The spring portal's closed, right? Closed 2.5, 3 weeks ago. So what's the next step? What's going to happen? There are limited options here.
Maybe they are so happy about their passing game that they're going to be more of a passing offense, and the running game is going to be just supplemental.
It's just a backup plan. Just a backup plan.
Here and there, just to keep people honest. It's really just to get that guy out of the backfield so they can get the ball thrown to him by Spencer Rattler.
For sure.
Yeah.
There is a name that I'm intrigued by. That is Dontavius Braswell. Goes by DJ. He is the highest rated running back to sign with South Carolina since Beamer became the coach in 2020. Finished his senior year at Washington County High School in Georgia with 974 yards and an average of 6.8 yards per carry. Beamer said,
wait. 6.8 yards per carry. And average is that's pretty good, Rob. That's a first down every 2 runs.
Yes, it is. Lonzo bringing those upper level math skills today.
I like the cipher.
Beamer said about Braswell, quote, he's going to have to play with our depth right now at the position. We've got to get him ready to play, and we expect him to play. DJ is just kind of a workhorse, if you will. He did everything for his team and is a good, solid football player. We're optimistic he'll be able to help us this season, end quote. I'm going to say, as Bear Bryant said many times, the more you have to lean on underclassmen, the more struggles you're going to find yourself in.
See, I get that in certain positions like quarterback and stuff like that, but running back, I don't think so. There's plenty of freshman running backs come in and tear it up. It's basically run that way. I mean, you don't have to get real complicated if a kid's pretty good and it's 6.8 sounds pretty good. Run that way.
And again, don't freak out because they're high school numbers, right? I don't know what type of competition.
Marcus Lattimore had high school numbers, and then you know what he did? He also had college numbers.
Right. I'm saying I don't know what the competition looked like for Washington County High School, right? I will tell you respectfully, as the voice of the Burns Rebels, there's a massive difference in getting 6.8 per carry when you're playing Gaffney versus 6.8 per carry when you're playing Ray.
All right, so I'm not saying this guy is the next Lattimore, but I saw Lattimore play for Burns, and then I saw him play for the Gamecocks, and there really wasn't that much of a difference. He went up there and he killed it, and unfortunately he got injured, or he probably would have been amazing in the NFL. So I think when it comes to running backs, I think if you're really good in high school, you got a shot at being pretty good in college.
You better hope. You better hope. Because I very much still think that as wide open as Spence was able to turn the offense at the end of last year, you're still going to have to set up with the run. And you're going to have to set up with the run specifically because of the fact that the offensive line for South Carolina is going to be okay.
Is this dude, he's a bigger dude, right? So he's going to be called on the block. If he can block and he can get you at least half those yards per average, then you're all right with the other guys that you have too.
They've got him listed as 5'11", 200.
It's not bad.
No, not awful.
And he's going to put some more muscle weight on the more time he spends there with the Gamecocks. So
he won the Georgia 2A State 100-meter title as a junior, clocked a 10.72, captured the 200-meter gold in 21.99, which is quick. But again, I think the question mark here is, how do you orchestrate the running game to demand attention from the second level of the defense and not allow them to start just crushing Spence by sending extra blitzers?
But if you are Shane Beamer and you know what you got, and you've already seen what you got with this kid, come at people for the media narrative, because we don't know. We haven't seen him play.
Correct. Second thing that I wanted to get to real quick here. Speaking of Shane Beamer, he said that next month's recruiting might look a little bit different than it has the last couple of years. He was at Florence Country Club yesterday, doing that tour we were just talking about.
You ever been there before?
I have not been to Florence Country Club.
Okay. You should probably put that on your list.
Have you been to Florence Country Club?
No. Do I look like I've ever been to a country club?
Anybody want to take Zoe golfing? I kind of want to take Zoe golfing.
Hey, I would love to go golfing with you.
Florence,
but people don't want to take a guy who's only been a few times. They don't want that guy because I don't have to tell him how to do this. He's going to spend all his time looking for his ball. He's just going to complain the entire time. That's not me. I'm out there to win. Even though I won't, I'm still out there trying to win. That's what I do.
Looks like a nice little course. Anyway, that's where Shane was. And
sounds like a place that's got some money.
He told the assembled media and fans that South Carolina was going to be cutting down on official visits being hosted during the week. He said of midweek official visits, quote, "We've had zero luck with that. Some kids have wanted to, and we flat out told them, sorry, we're not going to bring you in midweek. Every situation is different, but we just haven't had a lot of success with that. So to me, you're better off coming in on an official visit weekend." Now remember, the NCAA recently ruled that prospects are now allowed to have an unlimited number of official visits. Past last month, recruits are no longer limited to just 5 official visits during the entirety of their recruiting process. Now, Shano has been vocally against the new rule since its passage, noting most prospects, he believes, don't need more than 5 visits that they were previously allotted to decide on what school they might want to play for. Beamer said during a booster event in Aiken earlier this month that, quote, "I'm not a fan of the unlimited official visits. I mean, I think by the time the official visits come around, guys, prospects have got it narrowed down. They know the 3, 4, or 5 schools they're interested in. We signed guys who took 1 official visit or 2 official visits. It gets tiresome, I think, for the players taking official visits. And then if you're taking 10, you're missing days of school at some point and things like that as well. So I'm not a fan of that. That one kind of came out of nowhere. There wasn't a lot of discussion that we had as coaches or administrators about that one, end quote. I want to throw this response out there just as a thought. And the thought for me is this. Why does it matter to you, right? Why does it matter to Shane? Why does it matter to the school if a guy's allowed to take 1 or 5 or 10 or 50 or 100 or 1,000,000? Why does it matter to you, right? All of these things to me, when coaches say this stuff, I'm like, I don't understand why you want to limit what prospects are allowed to do. Well, I think they should only have 5. Well, I'm worried about them missing school. Are you really? Are you really? Is that really the issue here? Are you really worried about them cutting class to go on a visit? Because I got a sneaky suspicion if there was a 5-star quarterback considering your school and he said, Coach, I'd love to come see you, but I got to miss AP Lit to be there, you'd be like, don't worry, I got a copy of Moby Dick. I'll read you while you're here.
I don't doubt his sincerity. It's putting football above education, and he seems to be the guy that puts education first. So I don't have a problem with it. I don't doubt the sincerity of our friend Shane Beamer.
Again, big Shane guy, big friend of the show, but I got to call it where I call it for everybody, right? I don't understand. Here's what I do know. What I do know is, I don't know this. I speculate this. Let me be clear. What I do speculate here is if I'm a kid being recruited and the NCAA says, here's a thing you can have. Here's a thing you can do. And then I hear an SEC coach go, yeah, I don't think he should be allowed to do that. Why? I don't like it. It hasn't worked out for me. It's not something that's benefited me. So therefore, I don't think anybody should be allowed to do it. I'm kind of put off by that a little bit, right? Like I'm put off by a guy that I'm supposed to trust with my next 2 or 3 or 4 years of my future, that I'm supposed to trust to look out and do the best for me and get the best out of me. And here's this dude saying, yeah, I don't like that this kid can do this thing to really examine his options in his future because it's not working out for me, for my school. Listen, Shane can say what he wants. So can Dabo. Never said anything to the contrary here. But I will say this. One thing that I think college football coaches need to be very careful about is how they talk about stuff like this. Because college students, or soon-to-be college students, aren't stupid. They're not dumb. And if you're sitting there openly chastising a decision that allows them to examine their options, examine the choices they have to end up in the best situation for them, and you're sitting there telling them, I don't like that you have that option, it can be a bit off-putting. If your boss came to you when you were out there examining your options, looking for the best whatever for you to get involved with, and they came to you and said, hey, look, I don't like that this is an option for you. Not the option you're picking, just that you have the option to explore. That'd probably be a bit off-putting and probably make you a little more likely to examine those options further. Does anybody disagree that Dabo Swinney, over the past couple of years, and the way that he has approached discussing the portal, the NIL, etc., does anybody argue it's at least to some degree harmed his recruiting? I feel like that's relatively obvious. It's been a big-time discussion point on pretty much every talk radio show in this state. In this state. Part of the reason why, part of the discussion why, is because of the fact that players look and go, wait, so this coach doesn't think that I should be allowed to do what's best for me? This guy doesn't think that I should be allowed to look into my options to benefit, to profit, to be successful for as long or wherever I decide that I should do that? Because it seems to me like he's not in it for what's best for me. And if he's not in it for what's best for me now, why would I think that X amount of days or months or weeks down the road he will be? All I would say is be careful how you address this stuff if you're a college coach. Be careful how you address it because these kids ain't dumb. I mean, they're dumb because they're teenagers, but they're not dumb. Social media and the internet has changed the way these kids can look at the world. They know they have more voices pointing out what is good and bad for them than you or I ever had in our lifetime. They know, they get it, they see it. Let's take a break. We'll come back here in a minute. We are inside of 9 minutes remaining until South Carolina and Georgia go first pitch in round 1 of the SEC tournament. South Carolina slotted in as a 6 seed, despite the fact that they were number 3 in the country a few weeks back. Can they get it done against the Dogs today? We'll break that down and more coming up on the Rob Brown Show on the Fan Upstate.
Okay,
Got a live read here, guys. Stay right there. We'll be right back. Y'all just missed a heck of a dang gum from the great one.
It's BetMGM tonight, Monday through Friday.
Yeah, you'll have to pay for it if you want one that good again.
BetMGM tonight is the red zone for casual and hardcore sports fans. Live sports betting updates for all of the next games as they happen. Get the latest scores, sides, totals, props, parlays, futures, and much more with hosts Quentin Mayo, Trista Craig.
You know, when someone leaves the air alone, it like stays pretty steady in here for the entire thing. Now we know exactly who's messing with the air.
Always streaming wherever you are on the Odyssey app. Make the Fan Upstate a favorite.
You guys been following this story that's been going on in the Big Ten? It is wild, dude. The Big Ten has set itself up as what I believe is going to be one of the two Power 2 conferences. It's going to be the SEC, it's going to be the Big Ten, and it's going to be the EEC, the Everybody Else Conference. Now, who's in which? I don't know yet. We'll find out. But the Big Ten didn't do itself any favors over the past couple of years. Tony Petitti. That's a hell of a name, Tony Petitti. Tony Petitti is the new Big Ten commissioner, installed about a month ago. And when he got installed, he put forward a list of priorities. Integrate USC and UCLA for the 24-25 season. Explore the new media rights deal for the expanded college football playoff. Deal with name, image, and likeness. And prioritize the official completion of the new television contract that is worth more than $7 billion that was negotiated by his predecessor, Kevin Warren. That one seemed to be a formality, right? That one was all but done at that point. It seemed like all Tony Petitti had to do was show up and sign the paperwork. But with about 3 months before the season kicks off and those TV deals begin, the Big Ten does not have those contracts done yet. And a lot of it is fine print. But ESPN dropped the bombshell a couple of days ago in that the Big Ten does not have the NBC primetime deal finished and has a number of outstanding issues that could cost the Big Ten tens of millions of dollars to get them rectified. ESPN quoted one anonymous source as saying, quote, "These deals aren't done and they aren't what they were represented to be from the standpoint of the NBC deal and the availability of all members to participate in November games in prime time." ESPN did interviews with nearly a dozen sources in and around the Big Ten to figure out what was going on. And all of them said there's a few things schools just recently found out. For instance, the Big Ten is going to have to pay back about $40 million to Fox because, according to sources, Kevin Warren delivered NBC the Big Ten football title game in 2026, except for he didn't have the authority to do that. This unfolded under the complicated backdrop of the Big Ten Conference not actually controlling the rights to the inventory of the latest deal. The Big Ten Network does. The Big Ten Network is owned by Fox. So the Big Ten Network has the rights to the Big Ten football title game, which Kevin Warren promised in this deal to NBC, except for he didn't have the right to do that. Apparently, NBC didn't do its due diligence. The Big Ten didn't do its due diligence. They signed off on this deal that wasn't available, and now they got to pay back north of $40 million because of that. They're going to have to pay $25 million back to Fox for the lost 2020 football game inventory, which came after an arrangement between Fox and the conference that was unable to muster the lost revenue from the COVID-19 season. So they're on the hook for that. And there are, quote, tens of millions of dollars, end quote, of future value of this NBC primetime deal in flux. Now, Tony Petitti has been working hard to ensure it keeps as much of the original value as possible. Historically, in the Big Ten, after the first weekend in November, schools were not required to play night games for a number of reasons: health, recovery, campus logistics, etc. And these were known in league circles as tolerances. Prior television contracts accounted for them, but the new deal did not. Meaning that NBC could tell the schools, hey, you got to play this as a night game, and the schools would have no interest in doing that. Meaning that effectively the Big Ten kind of put the screws to their own schools signing this deal without clearly communicating with those schools what was going on. Multiple sources told ESPN that there has been pushback from a number of schools, including Michigan, Ohio State, and Penn State, to play those late November night games under the new contract, which leaves Tony Petitti to figure out how to uphold a deal for hundreds of millions of dollars for primetime games without cooperation from, let's be honest here, Lonzo, the three schools in this conference that matter right now, Ohio State, Michigan, and Penn State.
You know, the thing is, I hear people complain about noon games and 4 o'clock games. You know what you don't really want to do in the Big Ten? Play a night game in November. It's cold at night than it is during the day.
It's cold.
My emphasis on
Yeah.
I mean, I get you wanting to do the prime time and everything, but I don't know if that factors in or not, but I got to believe it does a little bit.
Athletic departments and coaches around the Big Ten, according to ESPN, say they were surprised November night games were part of the deal. They weren't asked for permission to play them prior to the deal or informed of the change ahead of the deal. At the same time, NBC was not aware until well after the initial contract was signed this summer that these big brand schools had historic tolerances that were part of prior television arrangements that the schools would push back against changing. Michigan athletic director Ward Manuel said, quote, NBC was surprised and I was surprised. We had not discussed and I had not discussed with anyone in the league to change the tolerances we had agreed upon years ago. Another industry source said, quote, the fault here is with the administrators on campus. How did the presidents, chancellors, and athletic directors not know this? The universities all signed off on the deal.
Doesn't tolerances sound weird in this thing? It's like when you tolerate that little brother hanging around because you don't want your mom mad at you. I don't. Why did they use the word tolerance here?
So it is the traditional term that seems to be predominantly a Big Ten deal, where schools have been in the past able to tell NBC, the Big Ten, whoever else, hey, we don't want to play that game at night because of blank. It's hard for us to get parking available.
It's cold.
Predominantly. Whatever the reasons might be, in the past, the schools were effectively, after the early November window, able to say that game's at 4 o'clock. And the TV contract said that they could call that shot. But the new contract Kevin Warren put together does not allow for that. The new contract says, no. NBC calls the shots and you play when the TV contract says you're going to play. Well, the schools are mad about it. NBC's mad about it. The Big Ten clearly isn't super happy about it, and it has now led to a spot where these contracts have all three parties butting heads with each other. You add that into the deal that Kevin Warren negotiated with NBC, CBS, and Fox, where the Big Ten didn't technically own the rights to different games that he negotiated. This is a catastrophic failure. Now, do I think the Big Ten's coming off TV? No, obviously the Big Ten's not coming off TV.
Are they going to refuse to play? I mean, to what end? I mean, do you say, no, we didn't agree to that? You did that on our behalf. We're just not playing that game. Are they going to do that? I don't think they're going to do that.
No, they're not going to do that. But what it does do, despite the fact that there is a new commissioner, is it erodes trust between the schools and the conference that they play in and under, right? And trust between, in this case, what is the rank and file, right? Because the schools are technically employees for the Big Ten. Lonzo, you're a manager. How much trouble are you in if you get to the point where your employees directly distrust upper management? Not don't like them, distrust them.
Well, that leads to division and all kinds of things, and leads to people not wanting to work and at least not put forth the effort that they need to get their job done correctly.
It also leads to a spot where employees start looking out for themselves predominantly.
And possibly leave and go somewhere else. But I mean, in this case, is the whole team going to go, no, we're not doing that. We're moving to the Pac-12 or whatever that is now.
If you are USC and UCLA, you're looking at this and going, wait a minute, we just joined a conference that had a past commish negotiating for games that he didn't have the right to negotiate for. A past commish who signed rights over for games that he didn't hold. A past commish who is now negotiated in a way that effectively screwed over the schools under his ward to the point that now he's got athletic directors like Michigan's coming out and going, hey, yo, this is some BS. I ain't on board. Not a lot of positive thoughts coming out of that, man. Not a lot of positive thoughts coming out of that. I'll tell you who I don't envy right now. Tony Petitti. I would not want to be in Tony Petitti's shoes. I would not want to be dropped into a spot where my predecessor screwed the pooch and either A, showed that the Big Ten Commission's office doesn't know what's actually happening at the schools under his watch, or B, straight up had malicious intent and lied to television networks. Hey, Lonzo, at the core of college football, what's the most powerful entity of all?
Money.
Yeah. And who's got all the money?
It's like at the core of just about everything. It's money.
Yeah. And who's got all the money in this?
TV.
The television networks.
Yeah, TV for sure.
The television networks have all of the money. You can't tick them off, dude. All of this expansion in college ball, all of this expansion is coming at the behest of the television networks. That's what this is for. Schools want to be in the Power 2, the SEC and the Big Ten. Why? Because they got the biggest TV contracts, which means they pay out the most television revenue. That's where this comes from. So the fact that all of this went as sideways and squirrely as it did under Kevin Warren is a bad look for the Big Ten. You know, it's a real good look for the SEC. The SEC gets to go, hey, our ducks are in a row, future potential members. When the next round of crown jewels comes up for a bid to add to the crown of the Big Ten or the SEC gets to look and goes, hey, you don't have to worry about any of this. You don't have to worry about any of the TV deals being botched because, you know, we haven't done that yet. That's all the Big Ten. This is interesting, man. This is chaotic at the least. That report's up on ESPN if you want to go read that. Let's take a break. We still got to get some hockey in here. We got to get a little more NBA. Heat Celtics coming up tonight. This series ends this evening. Bring on the NBA Finals. Vegas, Dallas skating tonight. Will this series get pushed to the brink of elimination as well? We'll talk about all that more coming up as we wrap up hour 2 on the Rob Brown Show on the Fan Upstate.
medical, professional, construction, even nonprofits. Please don't miss out on this. Even your doctor would tell you to get an expert second opinion, and we do a lot of work for doctors. Download the Innovation Refunds app now or go to getrefunds.com to potentially get a payroll tax refund of $26,000 per employee. Getrefunds.com. Getrefunds.com.
At the United States Postal Service, we're reinventing our network to help keep your business moving with new shipping options to deliver better value. greater
0 for 2 out the gate.
customers, more
Ooh,
informed delivery.
pushing everything right. It's windy in here.
It is.
Still,
Perfectly plus these are different size bottles, and so stop drinking that.
Learn more at
Stuff.
USPS.com/moving
All the way left.
Discover credit cards automatically double all the cash back you earn at the end of your first year, which means
Speaking of which, all those waters that I used to drink that you still drink, do you want them?
Yeah, if you're not drinking.
Start bringing some.
Discover automatically double all your cash back. So if I get a Discover card right now, I can earn twice the cash back.
I think staying away from carbonation as much as I am is helping me some. So down another pound without exercising still. I was going to get up and walk this morning, but I don't know if I'm working 11 hours again today. So
Alonso put in that Iron Man performance yesterday.
I went and made bad food choices that helped me stay awake. The pain.
Was it worth it?
Well, I stayed awake, so I
So,
guess ran a fairly flawless show. And since the host knew that I was really tired, he didn't talk to me on the air like he normally does, which is really nice. So
Yes. Also, I watched like 4 more episodes of Jeff Goldblum Law and Order. It's so good. It's so good. Excellent. Yes. Excellent. Couple of bits of news out of the National Football League. By the way, top 2, Murillo just gets a single out to the gap between short and third. The Gamecocks have one on first, one on second, 2 away. Georgia has one on first, one on second, 2 away, threatening to put the first one across. South Carolina versus Georgia in the opening round of the single elimination Southeastern Conference tournament. Mason LaPlante at the dish here. South Carolina in trouble in the top of the second. I will keep you up to date on this game as we go. Interesting decision from the National Football League yesterday. We ended the last segment talking about television. Television generates the decisions. In college football, it is the same for the National Football League. An NFL proposal that went to the table back in March has now passed. And it is one that is, I think, good for those of us that watch the NFL at home, which is 99% of the NFL audience for any given game. Not so much for season ticket holders, and worse for those who had planned on traveling to away games late in the season. The proposal that passed is just for the 2023 season. It will carry one big caveat. Thursday night games can now be flexed to Sunday, and Sunday games can now be flexed to Thursday night. Now, it does have some restrictions on it. Flexes are permitted during only the final 5 eligible weeks of the regular season. Now, this will be weeks 13 through 17, since the Thursday night game does not appear in week 18, and no more than 2 games per season can be flexed. No team can be flexed in or out of a Thursday slot more than once.
So what's more important, the Thursday night game or the Sunday night game?
Well,
So aren't they lessening one by allowing the other to flex? Does the flex work both ways, or it's just flexing from Sunday to Thursday?
it can go both directions.
Huh.
It can go both directions.
What if they both want that game? Who wins?
This is interesting.
Does each side, does Thursday and Sunday each have a certain amount of flexes?
I do not know the answer. Here's what we know. Here's what we've got right now. We know some owners don't love it. We know that 8 owners voted against the proposal on Monday. John Mara and Art Rooney were 2 of them. They were 2 that were the loudest vocal opponents of this plan back in March. They were 2 of 8 to vote against it on Monday. They cited their number one concern. What about fans scheduling travel to games only for the game to be later moved 3 days earlier from Sunday to Thursday or from Thursday to Sunday? If Lonzo and I put together a road trip to fly up to New York for a Thursday game late in the season because we want to watch Josh Allen play, we're both big fans.
Yeah, your hypothetical is got a lot of holes in it.
Let's say Kansas City has a Sunday night game. Screw it. Let's say they got a Thursday night game booked at Carolina. A game that we would absolutely go to, right? If it was Thursday night.
Oh, for sure.
And then on Monday, when we're getting ready for it, we find out that game got flexed to Sunday. But Lonzo and I already took off Thursday and Friday. We're probably not super thrilled about that, right? But
we're still going to take Thursday and Friday off because it's already been approved, but we're still not thrilled about
but here's
it.
The thing.
Yeah.
I have 15 vacation days a year, right? And almost all of them, almost always, are built around things that I want to do during the year. I'm using one of them Friday because I want to go spend the long 4-day weekend with the fam down in the Sunshine State. I'm using one of them on the 9th of June because I've got a luxury box at the BMW Pro-Am to go sit in and watch people better than me at golf play golf. But if I took 2 vacation days to go to an NFL game and then that NFL game got moved to a Sunday, not only did I just lose a couple of days, but I also wasted my vacation days. And on top of that, I'm still not off that next Monday, meaning I still can't go to that game that's now on Sunday. So I lose the game itself. But here's the reality. There's 2 numbers that matter, 99 and 7. 99% of fans of any given NFL watch audience are not at the game. So what's more important? The 99% of fans that are watching at home that you want to build the perfect TV schedule for, or the, on average, 75,000 fans that are in attendance, of which probably at any given NFL game, maybe 10 to 12,000 are away fans. The other is 7. According to the NFL, Lonzo, 7% of NFL fans, 7% of NFL fans have ever been to one game. 93% of NFL fans have never been to an NFL game before. That's where this flex comes from. That's why they're doing this. Good idea, bad idea. What's your thoughts? Let's take a break. We'll come back. Let's get to hour number 3 next on the Rob Brown Show on the Fan Upstate.
We're professionals. We watch the clock.
There's a clock?
Yeah, there's a clock. It's like,
when did that start?
That says 55. That's probably not a good thing. So we might go just a little bit over, like about 2 minutes, but you know.
I don't care.
Well, this is allowed to float, but for consistency's sake, I hate it because I want to start exactly at the top. He's on our side. I'm gonna roll with him because I get paid to, and he's on my team. I'm on his team. Yeah.
Hey, it's Amy Lawrence. Be sure to listen to CBS Sports Radio at home. Just ask Alexa to play CBS Sports Radio.
Yeah, it's flat circle. Yeah, that's what it is.
Babbel's lessons are fun. They only take like 10 or 15 minutes, and in 3 weeks, presto, you're starting to speak another language. Like magic.
I love that Apple's lessons aren't just robots talking. They're voiced by native speakers.
Yeah, I agree, Joe. I mean, it's got to be rough as a player and as a coach trying to set up practice and all that kind of stuff, and then suddenly, yeah, it's okay because the NFL is looking out for the health of the player, so they're not going to put them in jeopardy. Évidemment.
Évidemment.
We still don't know exactly what we're saying, but that's okay.
Évidemment.
With you Monday.
Sure.
You're wondering if he spelled it correctly? I took 3 years of French and 1 day of college French where I went, no.
No.
No. Or, as they say in France, no.
I was killing Babbel for a little while, or not Babbel.
No, you know that one thing.
Duolingo. Killing Duolingo.
Where are you going?
Want to quickly become Dad's favorite? Get him what he really wants for Father's Day. The Upstate Golf Cart. 18 holes at 9 of the best courses in the Upstate. The Preserve at Day, the Club at Brookstone, Carolina Springs, The Rock, Deer Golf, Bowling Green, just to name a few. And best of all, now through Father's Day, the Upstate Golf Cart is on sale. 1 for $75 and 2 for $125. Get your dad one today at upstategolfcart.com.
Oh, isn't Presto Italian?
So you order a new air filter for your car. You try to install it, but it doesn't fit. So you take a little bit off the side. Well, it still doesn't fit. Well, you could try to sit on it. Or get it right the first time with eBay Guaranteed Fit. When you see the check, you know that part's going to fit. Air filters, brakes, headlights, over 122 million parts. The right part at the right price.
Presto.
Let's ride. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
I just want to say, a la peanut butter sandwiches. It's a Sesame Street reference. I don't know why. There's a magician on, that's what he would do. I don't remember his name. Warehouse in Midtown. First break.
Warehouse in Midtown. First break.
It was the score. It was the score.
Nil.
I'm offended. That's not a baseball term.
Sure it is.
No, nil is not a baseball term.
Sure it is.
No,
Nil is a term for zero in any capacity.
no, it's only like tennis or soccer, not in baseball though.
The score right now, Georgia, South Carolina, first round of the SEC tournament is 0-0. The empty set.
It's 0-0, people. I mean, there's no nil in baseball.
There's a nil in everything.
No,
The empty set is referred to as nil.
it's 0.
South Carolina threatening right now. They got 2 outs in the bottom of the second, but the bases are juiced full of Gamecocks right now. Pitching change for Georgia as their starter got into a bit of a spot. 1-1 count here as South Carolina trying to get the first run on the board and to fill up the empty set. Of course, that would make it not be nil anymore.
Well, an empty set, that's tennis. Why are you crossing platforms here, dude?
Empty set's a
Dude,
math, it's a science term.
No. There are no sets in baseball.
For instance, the number of Lonzos with bad hair is nil. It's an empty set. There are none. South Carolina gets 1 across on the shot, single out to left. That is going to be a 2-run single, and the Gamecocks are on the board with the first 2 runs. So now the score, Gamecocks 2, Georgia 0.
0.
Nil. 0.
It's not a no. It's not
Zero.
a nil. It's a 0.
9.
I'll even, I guess, I mean, there might be some Germans playing, and possibly.
2-0 Gamecocks. The 6th seed up on number 11, Georgia, in the opening game of the SEC tournament. Looking for more are the Yardbirds.
We haven't fought since I've been back from the hospital, so I thought maybe
Needed to get one
it's
going.
time to see if it's
For sure.
still there. So
For sure.
0.
For sure. I get it. All right. CBS Sports has projected their top 10 college football quarterbacks. This takes the spring practices, spring games into consideration. It takes past success into consideration. And here's the list they put together. Tom Fornelli, Chandler Mummy, and some others from CBS collaborated on this. They open at number 10 with LSU's Jaden Daniels. I like this kid a lot. Now, there are questions about whether or not Jaden Daniels will even be the starter for LSU. I'm going to go ahead and call the shot that he is. LSU is opening as a top 7 team in college football this year. LSU is ranked very highly to open. I think LSU is absolutely a dark horse playoff contender out of the SEC West. And I think that Jaden Daniels is a reason why. This guy is uber athletic. He is Anthony Richardson with a better arm, I think. I really like Jaden Daniels, and I really like what the guy brings onto the football field. They've got him at number 10. At number 9, Michael Pratt out of Tulane. A group of 5 guys. A group of 5 makes the list. 5 guys. I'm just hungry. A group of 5 guy makes the list here.
Big old bag of fries. Grease just soaking through.
Michael Pratt is another fantastically athletic quarterback. Michael Pratt is also a guy that had he entered the transfer portal, would have likely been able to play almost anywhere he wanted to. There were reports that there was interest in Michael Pratt out of some SEC schools, I'm sure generated to see if they could talk him into hitting the portal. Michael Pratt decided to stay at Tulane, and why not? Tulane beat USC in a bowl game last year. Why wouldn't you want to stick around and run it back one more time? Just ahead of Michael Pratt, a guy that I have talked about multiple times, Jordan Travis out of Florida State. Florida State right now, depending on what Vegas book you look at, has better odds than Clemson to win the ACC in a couple of spots. Jordan Travis is a big part of the reason why. Jordan Travis and the Noles are not just an ACC threat this year. Great one. They're a playoff threat this year. And Jordan Travis is a big part of the reason why.
We'll see what they do going up against the mighty Clemson, who is the ACC.
Has been, without a doubt. I'm not arguing that that's not true. What I am saying is the iron fist with which Clemson has ruled the Atlantic Coast Conference, the iron fist is under attack by FSU this year. That's a good team. And Jordan Travis, a very good quarterback, is a big chunk of the reason why.
I really, 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 really want you to be right.
We're going to find out in 100 days. Just ahead of Jordan Travis, CBS Sports ranked J.J. McCarthy, starting quarterback of the reigning, defending, undisputed Big Ten champions. Reached the college football playoff last year. You're the starting quarterback of the team that is favored to win the Big Ten this year. What's interesting here, however, is that J.J. McCarthy, Lonzo, is not the shortest odds to win the Heisman out of the Big Ten. The shortest odd to win the Heisman out of the Big Ten right now is a guy by the name of Kyle McCord. Kyle McCord will be the starting quarterback at Ohio State next year. But they still slotted J.J. McCarthy into the top 10 quarterbacks for next season.
Can you name the last bad quarterback at Ohio State? I'm not bragging. I'm saying they've had a pretty good run of quarterbacks.
They really have.
Yeah. Even some of the guys who didn't make it, Joe Burrow, went somewhere else and was successful.
Who was the last bad Ohio State?
So the odds, what I'm saying is the odds are in the favor of Ohio State that the quarterback's going to be pretty good.
Was Dwayne Haskins considered good?
They won under him.
Yeah. JT Barrett. I think.
Let's look at records next to it.
Justin Zwick.
No, there we go. Maybe Zwick.
04.
Yeah.
Craig Krenzel.
Good old Craig Krenzel, big dude. That was a big white dude.
Steve Bellisari back in the late 90s. Joe Germain. I don't know.
Joe Germain was pretty good. Big old bobblehead, but he was good.
Well, they trust Kyle McCord to be next in line, but they're putting J.J. McCarthy in the top 10. They got Bo Nix inside the top 10. Bo Nix out at Oregon, former Auburn man. A guy that is...
How long has that dude been playing?
Bo Nix?
Yeah.
16 years.
I think so, possibly.
Bo Nix didn't work out at Auburn the way they wanted him to. He goes up to Oregon. Of course, Oregon is going to try to let it fly this year underneath Bo Nix. I don't necessarily agree with Bo Nix here, but Bo Nix is a guy that has... You know who he reminds me of? Will Levis last year. A guy that I got question marks going in. I don't know if he's going to answer those question marks, but still probably a second-round draft pick. They got Sam Hartman at Notre Dame. I got no problem with this. He has not taken a snap in South Bend, Indiana as of yet, but he's already run Drew Pine out of town. Ty Buckner stuck around to see if he could take the starting job away from Sam Hartman. He could not. Buckner is now down at Alabama. Sam Hartman did some good things for Wake last year. Now he gets a crack at a bigger, better role at Notre Dame. They have Michael Penix Jr. out of Washington, former Indiana guy who transferred up there. This one's interesting too, because Michael Penix Jr. has a cannon for a left arm. Guy can rocket the ball down the field. It's the accuracy that's going to be a question. If he can pinpoint guys, he's going to be interesting at Washington. Another team out of the Pac-12 that wants to light up the scoreboard.
Hey, where's Arch Manning on that list?
Well, let's go to the next guy on the list, Quinn Ewers.
Again, just luck. I didn't look at it. Just
You're
luck.
on one today,
Yeah,
buddy.
I am.
Quinn Ewers has been assumed to be Texas's starter in 2023. He got named by Steve Sarkisian as the Texas starter following spring practice, where he outcompeted Arch Manning and Malik Murphy, by the way, just to, put the whole thing into perspective. Quinn Ewers checks in on the list. They got Drake May out of North Carolina. I've told you. I think Clemson's under assault this year. Drake May is going to be a reason why. Drake May, according to CBS Sports, is the second best quarterback power ranked coming in this season. There had been speculation that Drake May might transfer out of UNC to join a title contender. He has decided to stay here, to stay at Chapel Hill. Drake May is going to be listed as a stud start to finish this year. And here's CBS Power Rankings. And then, of course, they rounded out, no shock here, with Caleb Williams out of USC. So my question would be, great one, are they wrong for not putting Spencer Rattler on this list? I'm not worried about Cade Klubnik. I got no problem with Cade Klubnik not being listed on this top 10 quarterback list. I think he's got some prove it time. But after the way that Spence ended last season for the Gamecocks, let's not pretend that Michael Pratt from Tulane isn't on this list because of how Tulane ended the year, getting a big bowl game, knocking off SC, et cetera, et cetera. Spence knocked off not one, but two top 5 teams to end his year. Yes, they lost their bowl game, but South Carolina was playing linebackers at guard because of how many guys skipped out on that game. Did Spence deserve to be on this list ahead of, say, Jaden Daniels at LSU, Michael Pratt at Tulane, or Jordan Travis at Florida State?
I think history hurts him. I think it's too easy to go back and look at the first part of the season where there were struggles, and before he came there, the struggles that he was having. I think history hurts him. And if you're him, you hope that this is a little bit of a chip.
I think you might be right. I think there are definitely some folks who looked at the way that his time at Oklahoma ended that skip over what Rattler did as a starting quarterback at the end of last season. A run that included 400 plus days? 400 plus yards and all the touchdowns against Tennessee, effectively bumping them out of playoff consideration. And then, a road win at Clemson.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. I mean, don't steal that from me. All right. And then he took down the mighty Clemson, who could never lose to South Carolina. And Spencer Rattler did that. All right. The rest of the team helped too, and potentially knock Clemson out of the playoff.
I don't think there's any potential.
Nah, I think Ohio State still makes it because they were a better team than Clemson last year with a better quarterback.
I don't know.
Oh, without a doubt. I mean, anyone who would argue that, they're just obviously not in their right mind. And yes, if you're watching on stream, I am wearing an Ohio State jacket. So, I mean, I have never acted like I was unbiased, nor shall I, because I try to be as honest as possible.
Whether Clemson would have gotten in or not.
They didn't, thanks to South Carolina. That's right.
But the fact that they could have gotten in and then lost that ability courtesy of South Carolina is the discussion. So the question mark here is, can Spencer Rattler be one of the top 10 quarterbacks in college football this year? My answer is, yeah. Yeah, he very well could be. I don't think Spencer Rattler's talent level dropped off because of the way things ended at Oklahoma. I think Spencer Rattler and the way things ended at Oklahoma, which, by the way, you can argue were within his control and he fell off. I would disagree with you. But Spencer Rattler, if you want to go that direction, lost his job at Oklahoma to whom? Caleb Williams. a guy who is now the odds-on favorite to win the Heisman Trophy, a guy who followed his coach to USC, a guy that is expected to be the number 1 overall draft pick next year. The guy's good. That's who Spence lost his job to, and he decided to go somewhere else he would have a job. It took a little while to get rolling at SC, but once he got rolling at SC, the year finished better than it started. I would take Spencer Rattler over Michael Pratt out of Tulane. I would take Spencer Rattler probably 10th on this list. I would say Spencer Rattler has proven himself to compete with Jaden Daniels on this list. I do think Jaden Daniels is more overall athletically gifted, which probably leaves him on my list. But I would take him over Michael Pratt. I think Michael Pratt is on this list just to give the group of 5 guys a little love. And he had, again, great run for Tulane last year. Good win over SC, but it was ugly there. Spencer Rattler over Jordan Travis? Honestly, probably, yeah. I'd probably say yes. I think Jordan Travis and Florida State last year were good. Do I think that Jordan Travis is definitely better than Spencer Rattler? I'm not ready to go that far yet. I think he's very good. I think both of these guys deserve to be on the list, but like at the very tail end of it. But if the question is, does Spencer Rattler deserve to be inside the top 10 quarterbacks in college football this year? The answer to me is, yeah. Now, could he get bumped from that list? Sure. Sure. South Carolina's not sneaking up on anybody this year, right? I think into last year, you could argue that the Gamecocks snuck up on Tennessee. Maybe you could argue they snuck up on Clemson. That'd be a bad look for Clemson. But you could argue they snuck up on Tennessee and Clemson at the end of the year to win out. Especially with that Florida loss tossed in there, which was ugly. But I think Spence has an argument for being inside the top 10 QBs in college football this year. I think you can bump Michael Pratt out of that. And that is the hot hand South Carolina's going to have to try to ride this year. Texture says Rattler is way overrated. South Carolina will be 6-6 this year. No. They will be 7-5 at worst.
And next, put your orange on that text.
Texture said, we didn't sneak up on Clemson. We straight up beat Clemson. Now, the point that I'm making here is if Clemson was paying attention predominantly to the ACC championship game and a playoff berth, making the assumption because of what Florida did to South Carolina, then I can consider that being snuck up on. But you're right. You went to their house and you got them.
If you look past your rival, that's poor coaching, poor everything. I don't believe that for a second. They thought they had that game. They didn't. They lost.
Texter said, can't even imagine if they put Clemson's quarterback on Heisman watch after playing 2 games, LMAO. That would be hilarious.
Here's the thing, man. No one hands the ball off like Kate. Boy can hand the ball off like nobody's business.
Like nobody business.
Hand it off, Kate.
Let's see here. Let's play. You know what? Just because I'm curious, let's pull up the Heisman Trophy finalists, shall we? Let's pull up what they look like right now. You ready for your Heisman Trophy odds, Lonzo? Here they are.
I cannot wait. I would say with bated breath, but I never understood that. I mean, if your breath is baited, it's got to be raunchy.
Not baited, B-A-I-T-E-D. Baited, B-A-T-E-D.
That's not a word.
Heisman Trophy odds. Caleb Williams opens as the favorite. No surprise there. Plus 500. Number 2 on this list, Lonzo, we got a 2-way tie between Michael Penix Jr. and Jordan Travis out of Florida State. 3rd place, we got a 2-way tie at plus 1,400 between Drake May and Bo Nix. All guys on the list so far. 3rd place, tie, plus 1,500, Sam Hartman at Notre Dame, Jaden Daniels at LSU. Right behind them, plus 1,800, Quinn Ewers out of Texas. Two-way tie after him between Carson Beck and Kyle McCord. Here's where it gets interesting. Plus 2,200 for Drew Allar out of Penn State. J.J. McCarthy is there. Plus 2,500. Cade Klubnik at Clemson. Names behind him. Marvin Harrison Jr., Ohio State. Projected.
Aren't you surprised that he's not higher than that? Unfortunately, it's become a quarterback award.
It's a quarterback award.
But man, Marvin Harrison Jr. was awesome last year.
I agree. And he's going to be awesome again this year. And he's
depending
going to be
on-
a top 5 draft pick this year.
It depends on how good the quarterback is, but yes.
But here's the thing. If Harrison Jr. has a Heisman caliber campaign, Kyle McCord will be a Heisman Trophy winner for Ohio State. That's just how this award works. He is tied with Joe Milton, Blake Corum, Dylan Gabriel, Brock Vandegrift, Tyler Buckner, Ty Simpson, Travion Henderson, Nick Singleton, Will Shipley is tied with Cam Rising, Braylon Allen, and Spencer Rattler at plus 6,000. Will Shipley has the same odds as Spencer Rattler to win the Heisman.
Well, he kind of made the list. I mean, it was way down there, but he made the list.
He did. James said, have you seen that ball placement as he's placing it into the running back's stomach? That's Heisman worthy.
Without a doubt. No one hands the ball off like kite.
Marcus said, I think Spencer could be first team all SEC quarterback, but I don't think he's getting a Heisman. Marcus said Spencer wants that Heisman. Yeah, he does. Yeah, he does. He wants to prove some people wrong. Are you shocked that he is starting at plus 6,000?
Yeah.
Is that more about him or more about the team?
I think it's a combination of the two. There is a way he wins the Heisman. That's if South Carolina wins the East.
Which, no. Sorry.
You don't, however small the percentage is, you don't give them any chance at all.
No.
Zero.
Less than zero. -10.
Would you put spray tan on the line for that?
Georgia's still winning the East. That's not stopping. That's not going away.
Well, recent history would say that, yes, Georgia's going to win the East. But it's not out of the realm of possibility that they could lose.
Future history says Georgia's winning the East, too.
We'll
That being
we'll
said,
see.
the question mark here is, am I overvaluing Spencer Rattler? Or is this plus 6,000 because of the team he plays on? I imagine Will Shipley's at plus 6,000 because people think Clemson's going to make another run this year. But he's got the same odds as the starting quarterback at South Carolina. That does not compute to me. All right, 71307. Hit me with a text. What are your thoughts? You can also call us on the Gilstrap Family Dealerships.com phone line at 844-326-3663. We are bottom 4. The Gamecocks do have a runner on second. They currently lead Georgia 2-0. I'll update you on that game when we come back on the Rob Brown Show in the Fan Upstate.
Warehouse.
All right, guys, got a live read coming up right here. Stay right there. We'll be right back.
My puffy appendix has started to not hurt. And it's that thing where you think, yeah, I'm back, and then you move the wrong way and find out not yet. Not quite. So I had a guy sit in with me yesterday for a couple hours, potential hiree. He's from Ireland.
You were telling me about
He
that
had so
guy.
many questions, but I didn't ask any of them because, I think he's been here for a while. I mean, the accent's still there, but it's not as deep.
Pronounced.
But I was struggling with the phone calls because some people who call that particular station are hard of hearing, where I have to shout and get them to stop talking in order to hear my question. What? Like, come on, guys.
All right.
He said something like, people don't understand me when I speak Irish. I'm just like, yeah, but isn't that English? That's what I wanted to say. Isn't that still English? I mean, I don't know. I guess maybe there's a Celtic dialect. I don't know. Why are you asking that? Don't get Rob excited, Joe.
I'm just saying, if they want to fire Kevin Patrick, I am available on Monday nights.
Oh no, he meant because that guy was.
No, I know.
Yeah,
I
didn't get
like
it because I'm slow. No, I did get it. It's just a little bit later than everyone else. 30 seconds delay. What can I say?
How do we feel about this? I kind of love it. I'm kind of on board. The University of Tennessee is reportedly in the early stages of pursuing the creation of what they're calling an entertainment district on campus that would connect Neyland Stadium and Thompson Bowling Arena.
You don't have to put on the red light. Probably a different kind of entertainment.
Very different type of entertainment.
Okay, all right. Well, you weren't specific yet. So
Roxanne. Looking at an orange light district on the campus at the University of Tennessee. The athletic director and Tennessee have been discussing putting together an entertainment district that would stretch between Neyland and Thompson Bowling. It would kind of be a wide open bars and restaurants and music venue, like the Battery is at Atlanta.
Or Five Forks, I think.
Kind of.
Well, I don't go to those, so I've just heard tell about the place.
Yes. Similar, but right next to the basketball and the football arena. And I am all in for this. I think it's a great idea. Now, South Carolina is already doing something similar. They are working on a $1 billion project to transform the area around Willie B. They're calling it a modernization project.
Tennessee, I just always pictured like a line of stills.
Hell yeah. Come on down to Neyland, get a little taste of the shine, Rocky Top.
Whole lot of overalls.
Rocky Top, I drunk some beers.
A lot of missing teeth, like Briscoe type people. It's a wrestling reference if you don't.
We them boys. There are no formal plans, timelines, or budgets set for the project in Columbia nor in Tennessee. But the point here is that more schools are looking at creating an overwhelmingly business-centric theme park to go around their college football stadiums. Why do you think that is?
Will there be gambling establishments there also? for sports betting?
I'm going to guess that if books are going to get involved, it will only be at off-campus stadiums, right? And I could see that absolutely happening down the line, right? There's money in that. I think you're going to see those be more profitable when you start putting them in stadiums, as some of the NFL stadiums are in the process of doing. But to open up a bunch of bars and restaurants and music venues and festival-like atmospheres around stadiums, I think it's going to become the rule, not the exception at this point. And I think that is because schools recognize, I've tried to hammer this for you guys for a while. Schools recognize that college football is a business, and business thrives with customers and their money. And it is always easier to separate a person with their money when they are in the business.
Oh, I thought you were going to say drunk.
Sure.
But it's,
Sure. I'm not going to disagree with that at all. If I can get you to imbibe just a little bit, I'm more likely into talking you to making larger purchases.
But the thing is, I mean, so these are within walking distance of the arenas and stuff. So doesn't that hurt your alcohol sales and things like that within the stadium? Because especially if it's cheaper in those establishments than it is when you get inside?
No, and I'll tell you why. Because if Rob Brown goes over to Willie B right now, I park at the state fairgrounds that are right next door. And despite the fact that, and this is one thing I don't love, they don't open the parking lot until like 2 hours before kickoff, which means Rob's got to go through an abbreviated tailgating experience. I like the schools that open them like 6 hours before game time.
There are other places around there that you could do that.
I know, but I like to tailgate at the stadium.
You don't want to walk as far.
Correct.
Okay.
I want to tailgate in the shadow of the stadium, and I want to be able to crack my first beer when I want to. But here's the thing.
Well, daggum, Clemson's got you covered, boy.
Yeah, they do. Yes, sir, they do. Year and a half ago, when I went down to watch the Greenville Triumph take on the reigning, defending, at the time, undisputed men's national soccer champions, the Clemson Tiger Men, I was able to show up, park the car, hit the bar across the street from the soccer stadium, walk over to the stadium. When it got to be halftime at the soccer stadium, I left the soccer stadium. I walked back across the street to the bar. I had myself another couple of Jack and Diets before I walked back over to the second half. Which, by the way, at Clemson, you can do that for a football game too, right? You can leave at halftime, go out to your car, knock back a couple out of the old ice chest, and then go back in.
Or you could just go there and hang with the Yahoos and never go in.
Big Yahoo fan.
Yahoos.
The answer is no, you're not going to hurt your business in the stadium, because all that you're going to do is you're going to create a reason that Rob isn't going to bring a cooler full of his own brewskis. I would rather walk where the people are. I want to see them drinking, walking around the bars.
All right, what in the world were you just singing?
Little Mermaid, man.
Okay, all right.
You got it now, right?
No, I still don't think I was very accurate, but I mean,
it was spot on.
You're better than that, and you're getting ready to play this weekend. You need to find it again, mister.
Rude.
I'm guessing you guys probably aren't singing anything from Little Mermaid, so you're probably all right.
We got a couple of Disney rock covers. We're adults. Anyway, point is, Rob can roll up into the night spots right there at Willie B, and I can grab myself a couple of brewskis before I go into the stadium. He got by the tag. Sent a guy to challenge the arm of the left fielder. Left fielder got it there in time, but they're saying the Gamecock base runner got under the tag. That would have been the third out and left 2 on. But they made the call to play. Here you go, Lonzo. You want to look in real time? Did he go under the tag? No, he's out. That's the third out. That was a bad decision.
I think the foot crossed the plate before.
No,
yeah, I'm going with he was definitely safe.
He never touched the dish. He didn't touch the dish. He's out. Left foot slid around the bag. He's
Yeah,
out.
I don't know what you're looking at.
So South Carolina is going to leave two stranded, getting a runner. Here you go. Here's the better look. Watch the lead foot. I don't think it touches the dish. It does not. Left foot doesn't touch the dish.
I was
He's
more
out.
looking at the right foot that
Tag
was
out
underneath.
well before that got there.
Okay. All right, if you say so.
So they're going to the official review here. He is going to be called out. That is going to end the Gamecock threat. They did put one up here in the fourth, so that is going to be a 3-0 lead for the Gamecocks.
0.
All right, let's see. Launching the right foot. That's close.
See, that's what I'm saying. The left leg or the right leg that's underneath, that was the one I was looking at. I wasn't looking at the lead leg.
Close. All right, so we got the review. This is going to be to decide if South Carolina goes up 4 with 2 outs and a runner on first and second, or if they stay up 3 and we end the bottom of the fourth. So I'll let you know when that call comes in.
Yeah, Robo probably would have already told you, right?
Yes. Why? Yes. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for making my argument for me.
Thank goodness for humans.
We wouldn't be sitting here on a cool streak, waiting till we could have just had the Robo.
Would you
he's gone.
would you let my guy have his time?
He's cutting into my time. I got a show to do here. All right. You're cutting into my time now. Let's see. When does the tag go on?
Awful lot of dirt
He's out.
being kicked up. So the visuals cannot be conclusive. If he was originally called safe, then there's no way they can overturn it.
Yeah, there is. Let's see. This angle. Tag is on there. Oh, that is close, dude. That's close. All right. I'll let you know when that comes in. Point is, I am going to go here with this is a wonderful idea. This is a wonderful idea. I love the idea. They upheld it. Call stands. He is safe. So the Gamecocks go up 4, runners on first and second, 2 outs, bottom of the fourth, and Georgia will now go to the third pitcher in 4 innings. Good call, Zoe.
Take that, Rob.
Good call. Good call. Somebody get Alonzo a blue shirt. He's on it today.
I look good in blue. My eyes pop.
Texas said if they start having robo-umps, what's next? AI-generated sports talk host? First off, I will tell you, Trey, there are people in my position already using AI to conduct their shows. Already using AI to dictate their topics and their show outlines.
Yeah, but what he's talking about is AI-generated voices taking a sample of your voice and doing the entire show.
I saw a thing on 60 Minutes the other day where one of the reporters trained AI using the voice of one of the 60 Minutes correspondents and then used that AI and got one of the show producers to like give her social security number over the phone because she just thought it was one of the correspondents doing a piece, but she got tricked by the AI. It was really interesting.
You mean scary by interesting?
Yeah, a little bit.
Okay. All right.
A little bit.
My voice crying in the wilderness is now starting to be heard.
So dramatic. Blah, blah, blah. Give me all the entertainment districts around college football stadiums. College football is meant to be a party. Give me places to party. I love this. I love that South Carolina set the trend. I love that Tennessee's jumping on board. And if it goes well at both, look for it to come to, well, every stadium everywhere. Because the bottom line will go up. Take a break back after this to wrap up the show. Rob Lonzo and you. It is the Rob Brown Show. It is the Fan Upstate.
Still just a little bit off. Oh my gosh! Oh my gosh!
Eastern Conference Final. Sergei Bobrovsky made 32 saves from his first career playoff shutout. Sam Reinhart was the only goal the Panthers needed. All 3 games of the series have been decided by 1 goal. Game 1 was a 3-2 overtime victory for Florida, and a 2-1 overtime victory in Game 2. The Hurricanes will try to stay alive. Game 4 is tomorrow night in South Florida. In the NHL Western Conference Final, the Vegas Golden Knights lead the Dallas Stars 2 games to none. Game 3 is tonight in Dallas. Game 4 Thursday in Dallas. If Game 5 is necessary, that would be in Las Vegas on Saturday. The Fan Upstate is your home for Furman Paladin sports all year long. Download the Odyssey app.
I want to introduce you all to Jake Haener, the next quarterback for the New Orleans Saints, and I would love for you all to take a look at his rookie photo shoot with me, Lonzo. First off, talk about
is that Roy?
An introductory photo, all right? That's the first one released. Then look at this GQ stud of a thrower, all right? This man is destined to replace Jimmy Garoppolo as your girlfriend's favorite quarterback.
So I had to explain to the guys on the Pulse Saturday what GQ was, because GQ came out with their top 100 game list. This is bogus. This is full of Nintendo stuff. But anyway. And so the question was, they didn't know what I was doing. I had them go through and mark off all the games they had played on the list to find out who was the most GQ in the room. It was me. So I mean, but you're right. That is what is that? Bumper, whatever. What was that dating site?
Bumble? No, not Bumble.
Bumble. No,
Bumble's
it's
not
not.
a date. Yeah,
Yeah, it is. It's Bumble or one of those. That's what that is right there, for sure.
Dude is coming to steal your division and your girlfriend. You know why I think I love this so much?
I mean, he's no Jimmy G, but he's.
That's what I just said.
Yeah,
He is coming
yeah.
for Jimmy G's title of your girlfriend's favorite
I don't
quarterback.
know. I don't. He's younger.
First off, look at that dump truck he's carrying around. All right. My man is stacked. Look at this guy. Look at this guy.
Is it okay?
Stud.
Is it okay if you know? I mean, you know how good you look, and you're just on there going, "Yeah, I know."
You know what I love about this photo shoot is that, and you can ask Keegan, these are exactly the dumbass pictures that I take when somebody wants a photo shoot. Look at that. You get
when all you really need to do is this.
You get 2 years of Derek Carr. Look at the comparison. Completely getting LA Knight vibes. A little bit.
Oh yeah. By the way, Dalton, did you see him in the press conference? Not as red. So it could have been lighting. I think he colors it. I think he makes it that way. I think he goes full on Sheamus.
Look at that. Look at that guy. Tell me you're not. If this dude walks into the bar and walks up to your lady, you know you just lost your lady.
He'll be out of the NFL in 2 years.
Please.
But that's fine.
Listen, Derek Carr takes 2 years to earn his Hall of Fame bid, and then he steps aside for Jake Haener to carry us into the future.
Hey, ladies. Haener. Jake
Joey B
Haener.
said, back up. Yeah. Yeah.
The unfortunate thing is Rob can't do the yeah quietly. It's
Yeah.
It's there's some volume there, trust me.
Yeah.
Just watching you on the video, and I could almost hear it. You're getting ready to do another one.
Yeah.
You do have the head motions down, because he definitely has head motions when he does that, for sure. Just like that quarterback you mentioned, LA Knight will be out of WWE in another year because they don't know what to do with him.
What a mistake. Wrapping up the Rob Brown Show here on the Fan Upstate.
Got that Tuesday lead. Yeah.
It's early. It's early in the week, baby. I am shorting myself a couple of days this week. Nope, just a day this week.
It doesn't count when you're not here. So, I mean, you know.
I will be out Friday.
What's the over under? I say you hit the 3 mark before it's over because Thursday you're going to be looking ahead to the ride and all that kind of stuff, and you're going to forget.
You think I blow it on Thursday?
I think you do. Yeah, that's what I'm going with. We'll check the Vegas odds later.
PointsBet will have it up by the end of the day, without a doubt. Without a doubt. All right. Before we get up out of here for the day, we mentioned earlier the Heisman odds. Tomorrow on the show, I want to get into those a little bit more in depth because I'm genuinely curious as to who, if anybody, is shocked by the odds as they are. Jordan Travis out of Florida State, second best odds in football to win it. Michael Penix Jr. at Washington. If Michael Penix Jr. at Washington can be number 2, why is Spencer Rattler at South Carolina all the way down at plus 6,000 tied with Will Shipley? I got questions, man. So we'll break those down on tomorrow's edition of the show.
And now, the Rob Brown Show.
I was like 2 seconds early. What do you want?
Trending topics.
Just hesitated to make you look. All right. Time for Twitter trending topics where I tell Rob what is trending and he will tell us why. The first thing that's trending is World Goth Day.
So let me just say, you know, I've just always had a thing for crazy women. All right. I just have. I think every dude has like a stretch where he's got a thing for crazy women. Happy Rhea Ripley Day. All right.
I guess you could look at it that way.
Because mommy's got it. Mommy's had it. Mommy's still got it. Big Rhea guy over here.
We don't have any goths here. Have you noticed that? I mean, the closest to goth we got is Diesel or T2. I mean, that's it. And they're not goth at all. But you could see them lean that way on the day if they wanted to, depending on what concert they were going to.
But if we had goths, where would we put them?
The Planet.
That is not a station for the goths.
Really?
Yeah.
I think they could fit there.
That is not a station for the goths.
Like on a throwback weekend show, maybe?
No, not a station for the goths aren't listening.
Name me some goth music
the
right
goths
now.
aren't listening to what you think the goths are listening. You think the goths are listening to like Ozzy, right?
No,
they're not.
No, I'm thinking more like new alternative type stuff with a depressing vibe.
If you ask me right now what the goths are
I think they're listening to like
today,
Cage the Elephant or something like that. You don't think so?
No.
21 Pilots?
No.
The goths not into those?
No.
All right. I'll have to look up on my Joe says Sleep Token or Opeth. They both sound like something that could be goth, or he could have just completely made it up. All right, the next thing is trending is he's 38.
Y'all gotta get off LeBron, dude. You gotta get off LeBron. You gotta stop pretending that sweep was on Braun. My dude is 38 and gave you 40 last night. Gave you 30 in the half. Gave you everything that the Lakers should have needed to win that game, and then got hung out to dry. Everybody banging the drum about how, that's LeBron. No, it's not.
Here in Harumph.
Harumph indeed.
The next thing that's trending is Scottie Pippen.
Yeah, because Braun ain't got a Scotty, does he?
That's why he's trending.
Yeah, I know it is.
Yeah,
because Braun ain't got a Scotty. Mike had a Scotty. Mike had a bunch of guys. Who's the guy that Braun's got right now? Quick.
I know.
Somebody tell me.
I know who it's supposed to be.
Oh, I know who it's supposed to be.
But it's not.
If you want to hate on somebody from this series, if you want to blame somebody from this series, y'all, it ain't LeBron.
All right. The next thing is trending is Max.
Max?
Yes.
Like from a Goofy movie?
No, but I love that character. Maxie. No, it's HBO Max is now Max.
Hey, what are y'all doing, HBO?
I don't know why it's.
What are y'all doing? How many times y'all got to change names? Listen, it's real easy. Just put good television shows up there and we'll watch it.
Which they have some. I don't know why the name changed. Maybe it's just easier to put on T-shirts or something. I don't know. All right, and the last thing that's trending It's Gray Jedi.
I'm assuming this comes from the video game. No, don't know. Really?
No, it just started trending. There was like 15,000 tweets on it. I was looking to try to see why. I did see a Sith code, a gray code, and a light code. I didn't realize there was a gray code. But
G-R-A-Y or G-R-E-Y?
It's whatever the color is.
No.
Yeah,
Okay.
whichever one's the color.
Okay.
I think it's A.
Somebody put up a meme the other day that was like Anakin and Padme was just like, you can just stop being a Jedi, right? You can just stop. You can just be like, I'm not with you guys anymore. And you wouldn't like lose your power. And I thought, what an interesting concept for a movie. A Jedi who walks away from the Jedi Order and is just like, nah, I'm just my own thing now. I'd watch the hell out of that. Ladies and gentlemen, that's it for us. Thanks for hanging out. Follow us across the social at The Rob Brown Show at Lonzo on Ward. We're back here tomorrow to do it all over again, but better on The Rob Brown Show in the Fan Upstate. Later.
All right, you shorted everybody a brother. You didn't say brother. What's wrong with you? Waiting for the brother. I didn't get
so many things.
I didn't get no brother.
Yeah, I forgot. What do you want?
How do you forget brother?
Back in my day,
It's
we
your
had HBO
it's your thing.
Go.
It's your thing. Oh, that comes across pretty good, by the way. I'm just seeing it on the video.
It does. It's going to be the clip for whatever I post today. It's just that. All right, guys. Thank y'all for watching. You're all spectacular people. We appreciate it. You're amazing. Thank you so much. Have a lovely rest of your Tuesday. We'll see you back here tomorrow. Goodbye.